Hello everyone and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa. We are all about pantry preparedness. Now, most of the time when we talk about pantry, right, people immediately think of food, rightfully so. Shelves lined with jars, canned goods, grains, all those things that keep dinner on the table because, that's what a pantry does. But here's the truth. A well-stocked pantry isn't just about what you eat. It's about maintaining your daily life when getting to the store isn't an option. It's about health. It's about hygiene and keeping things running smoothly when the unexpected happens, because it happens a lot to the point where you almost think we should expect it. Today, we're going to talk about some non-food pantry must-haves, what I consider must-haves. I would love to hear if you have anything that you want to add to the list. We're going to talk about your toiletries, your cleaning supplies, your first aid essentials, because, those are all important for day-to-day life. These are the things that keep our households functional, comfortable, calm, when life gets a little unpredictable. Let's start in the bathroom. Okay, we're going to jump from the pantry to the bathroom. Here we go. Now we're good friends, right? Nothing says we're not prepared like realizing you're down to that last square of toilet paper, right? We all learned that lesson. At least I hope we all learned that lesson in 2020. It was one of those things where everybody kind of went, shelves went bare. Suddenly people were trading toilet paper like it was gold, if they were willing to trade it. Let's make sure that never happens again. Here's what I recommend keeping on hand as kind of my bare minimum. Remember, hoarding is purchasing without having the intention of ever using. Being prepared is purchasing with the intention of using. There's a big difference. Hoarding is a disorder. Preparedness is what everyone should be doing. So, toilet paper, we're going to start with that because aim for at least a 1 month supply per person in the house. So for most families, that's 8 to 12 rolls per person, depending on your household, Look at where you can get it from, look at your options. A main reason why I'm a Sam's Club member is because of the Members Mark toilet paper. I love that big bulk of 45, in case you haven't seen. And so being able to stock up on quite a few of those makes me know that I have months, literal months of toilet paper where I don't have to worry about it. So if anything happens financially, if anything happens, economically, health-wise, anything else, I know we're covered for a few months. And that's my goal. But at a minimum, look for 8 to 12 rolls per person in the household. Try to find the best deal you can. And the cheapest is not always the best deal. Just something to think about. Now, paper towels is another one. And I know there's a lot of people that, we don't do paper towels. And admittedly, I am trying to come off of my uber use of the paper towels. However, paper towels have a place. They really do. So they're not a necessity, but during water disruption or an illness, right? They're a blessing because there are times when doing that laundry is just a little bit more than your stomach can handle. Sometimes paper towels make those uncomfortable times just a little bit more bearable. And I recommend having at least one package. When I have 15 packs or 18 or 15 rolls or 18 rolls, I think, in a package. Again, Sam's Club, But whatever you have the space for, definitely have at least a few rolls on hand for those emergencies if it's not something you use all the time. Next is soap or body wash whatever your preference is. I like to stock bar soap. I was very much into liquid soap for a long time, body wash for a long time. But I find that I used a lot more and it cost me a lot more. Bar soap, especially if you've let it cure, even the commercially bought bar soap, if you let it cure, it just gets more solid over time. It lasts longer. It's not like it ever goes bad. It's a great thing. Back in my Uber couponing days, I hate to admit 30 years ago, I used to get free bars of soap all the time. I had enough soap for 12 families of 10, you know, but it only got better as it aged. So I really like bar soap, but either way you like to go, those are great. Now, the cool part about bar soap is that if you get an unscented, you know, if you do unscented bar soaps, they are fantastic as for doubling for laundry or hand washing clothes in a pinch. You know, I keep bars of Zote. That's the one, Zote. I keep bars of that in my pantry because it makes great laundry soap. It's great for different cleaning, not just, you know, your person. So it's always good to have at least a couple of those on hand just for an emergency. But if you don't want to buy an additional kind, your favorite kind of soap will typically work pretty good as long as it's not super moisturized. It won't get anything out of your clothes that way. The next one is shampoo and conditioner. You can even go with that 2-in-1 formula if you can, or a bar shampoo if that works for you. Whatever works for you, right? To save space, just having a little extra on hand. Typically, still, I always say, if you don't use it, don't buy it. Only buy what you use. That goes for things other than food also. Now, toothpaste and toothbrushes, very important to have around. Rotate them regularly. Toothpaste actually does go bad. It really does. I don't have an exact time frame on it, but I know I've had toothpaste like for a couple of years, but then I was reading somebody else went, oh yeah, no, I had some that was pretty old and it was not good. So it doesn't always, you know, doesn't always last or taste good. A great rule of thumb, if you don't want a whole bunch of extra, is 1 in use, 1 in backup. And when you bring the backup up for use, refill the backup, you know. When I find toothbrushes on sale, I grab them. How are they going to go bad? Toothbrushes don't go bad. Toothpaste, yeah. Okay, feminine hygiene products, because I am constantly neglecting to do anything about these. But whether disposable or reusable, these aren't something you want to run out of. Half of the freaking country, okay, has to have these in one form or another. And so they should be a priority, and they should be something that you stock up on. Deodorant, razors, shaving cream, that kind of stuff, they aren't luxuries. You would think that in an emergency situation they might be. I mean, nobody's going around smelling your armpits, right? But it's not a matter of a luxury. They're morale boosters. If you feel gross, you know, then you're just less likely to be engaged. When you feel clean, you feel capable. And that's huge during emergency situations or tough times or whatever the case is. So let's talk about some storage and rotation tips, because, you know, not everybody has the same amount of space. I get it. Stock what you have the space for. So it doesn't mean that you have to have 450 rolls of toilet paper for 2 people. It means that you need a couple, you know, months worth of toilet paper for 2 people, and you're good. It doesn't take up that much space. I like to store extra hygiene stuff in totes or in baskets. It depends on the space that you have. We don't have a devoted linen closet. We actually, when we remodeled the bathroom, where the old shower was, is now a cubby. And instead of building in shelves, because we just didn't have the funds at the time, I had an old hutch, that solid wood hutch we used for a ton of stuff. It fit in there like it was made to be there. Shelving and storage space, you know, with doors on it so that not everything has to be visible. It's fantastic. So I use baskets. I use little small totes, that kind of thing. They're all that extra stuff is in there. It's there if I need it, where I'm going to use it, you know, and it makes life a little bit easier. If you don't have that kind of storage space, if you're in a RV or if you're in a studio apartment, then find the space that works best for you, depending on what you're dealing with. You have to figure some of that out yourself because everybody's living conditions are completely different. But there is always some kind of space. If space is tight, another thing to think about is vertical. Okay, so those shoe holders that you can hang over a door, those hold a multitude of really great things, especially shampoos, razors, bar soap, that kind of stuff. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Budget-friendly stocking because money matters right now, right? Yeah, I know. If money's tight, add just one extra toiletry item each shopping trip. One extra toiletry item each shopping trip. It's that simple. Maybe toothpaste this week, maybe shampoo next week. In a month or two, you will be amazed at how much you have stocked up. It adds up rather quickly. And of course, bargain places like the Dollar Tree is a great place to buy that backup. Always remember, preparedness isn't built overnight. It's literally one item, one shelf at a time. You can do this. This one, I might wrinkle a few feathers on this one, right? But, I'm kind of used to it. We're going to move on to cleaning supplies because when things get chaotic, a clean home kind of restores order, Even when things are chaotic, if your house is clean, there's some form of order that has been restored. And I have felt this when things are just, a little bit nuts. It's not about perfection. Always remember that. It's about sanitation, health, and keeping germs at bay when you just can't run out for more disinfectant or paper towels. That's the key to all of this right here. So you want to look at your core cleaning supplies. Now, in your house, you may have different stuff, but these are the basics that I recommend for every home to have in their pantry for rotation. I'm not a big fan of a different cleaner for every little thing, It's unnecessary. It is marketing at its best, and it's just a waste of money, honestly. So if you're tight on money, look at that area first, because that's an area where you're probably spending too much money. It's like having scent beads in your laundry. I don't get it. Anyway, all-purpose cleaner, vinegar-based or store-bought, whatever fits your lifestyle, doesn't matter, okay? A simple vinegar-based cleaner, water and vinegar. Do a 50-50. It'll clean practically anything. Disinfectant wipes or spray, especially important if someone in the house gets sick. You want something that disinfects. Whichever brand you like the best. I'm kind of big on Clorox. I know what it is. It's bleach. Clorox is bleach. That being said, bleach. I always keep at least a gallon on hand. We have a multitude of uses for it, even though I almost never use it where it can get into my septic because it's not good for my septic. So it sanitizes water containers, laundry, and hard surfaces. And that's something that you may need to look at. We actually do use it, though, in part of our water softener system because our water is so hard and filled with iron that we had to change systems because it was building up the most bizarre stuff in the tank of the toilet ever since the day we moved in. And we finally had somebody come in and explain it to us, and it's basically an iron-based bacteria. They're literally, the only thing you can do is add a minute amount of bleach into your water softener system, and it takes care of it. So, the first time I saw it, I was like, Phil, I think my uterus fell out, dude. And yeah, we laughed about it for a while, and then we figured out what it was. So, it's a good thing to have around. Bleach. Laundry detergent, whether it's liquid or whether it's powder. Whatever your preference is, make sure you have enough for at least a month's worth of loads. It's that simple. A month's worth of laundry. Dish soap. Look for one that can double as hand soap in a pinch. Everyone all of a sudden hates Dawn dish soap. I am not sure why, nor do I care because I have way too much of it to give up on it. I like Dawn because I use it as a pre-treater for stains on clothing. I use it for dishes. I use it for cleaning different things. I love Dawn. And hey, I can give little duckies a bath when the world sucks. So whatever you like, but again, go with the basic. Try not to get the super scented. It's just unnecessary. Sponges, scrub brushes, microfiber cloths. These come in handy. I'm not a huge sponge person, straight up. They gross me out after about the second time that I use them. Scrub brushes, I'm huge. Little scrubbies, I am huge fan of both. Microfiber cloths, I would rather drag my nails down a chalkboard than touch those. Do you know what I mean? But these are great things that you can reuse kind of endlessly, you know? Just keep swapping them out and washing them, and they're good. Garbage bags. You know I'm a fan of garbage bags, okay? Stock multiple sizes. You want your kitchen ones for certain because it's your kitchen, you know. You definitely want the contractor bags, at least one box of contractor bags because, well, they hold a multitude of things. But in an emergency, in all seriousness, in an emergency, if there's like mass cleanup to do or something like that, those are going to come in handy a lot more than your kitchen trash bags. If you use them, then those super small ones that you use in the bathrooms, I prefer to reuse the bags that they give us in the grocery store, even though I know a lot of states now have it where they don't use those in the grocery stores anymore. So however you want to work it, okay? If your hands, are something to consider, then definitely think about rubber gloves. I have the latex gloves in the kitchen for my super crazy jobs just to, keep the mess down a little bit. I also use them when I oil my counters. I don't really use the big rubber gloves for washing dishes, but you can keep a set of those around too, because sometimes you just seriously don't want to touch that stuff. But I find the latex gloves kind of cover me on all bases, except I can't put my hands all the way down into the dishwater. But other than that, it works, it helps, it protects your hands while you're cleaning, while you're gardening, or handling anything questionable. A big thing with this is to figure out a way to simplify and save. Now, like I said, having scent beads or, all that frou-frou stuff is just so not necessary. So if you're trying to save space or if you're trying to go simple because, it's just time, you don't need 15 specialized cleaners. You really don't. Vinegar, baking soda, a bottle of Castile soap. You can pick it up at Wally World, okay? And those three will handle 90% of your cleaning jobs. 90% of your cleaning jobs, those three things. A few drops of essential oils if you need a little frou-frou, and, it'll freshen things up. Okay, great. But don't overcomplicate it. It's not necessary. Preparedness literally thrives on simplicity. Let's look at some practical cleaning tips because sometimes we just need it. If your water supply is limited, that's something you need to pay attention to. Maybe you're on a boil advisory. Those are popping up a lot lately, or the power's out. And when my power goes out, my well stops unless I turn on the generator, right? So that's when your paper towels come in handy. I highly recommend never using disposable wipes that are meant to be flushed because anybody in the city, in the municipality will tell you that those will tear up the sewer systems like nobody's business. The companies say they're fine. I can tell you from experience, they are not to be going through the sewer system. So paper towels or the kind of disposable wipes that you throw away, not flush. Those are great for those kinds of, there's no water. They're great to have around for that. So do you need 400 rolls or containers of them? No, you just need, 1, 2. But it's a great way to reduce contamination risk. So if somebody gets really sick or somebody comes down with the vid or the flu or whatever, and you're just kind of like, we're going to sterilize this house one way or another. Those are great things to have. The next one is don't forget your laundry. Don't forget your laundry, okay? A few extra jugs of detergent plus a line and clothespins, you're golden. It can keep your family clean when dryers are down or water use is limited. You can literally wash your clothes by hand to some extent very well. Rinsing it out is going to be the tricky part, so that's something you want to pay attention to, especially for your personal items, But I just received an email today from somebody, the class that I taught, and they were talking about, if money gets really tight, I can wear my clothes in the shower and wash them in there. And I'm like, actually, that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Now, if your jeans are super grimy, then, that might not work so well. But yeah, whatever you got to do to save a couple bucks, do it. It's no harm, no foul. And then hang them to dry. In the wintertime, it adds moisture to the air. It's fantastic. A clean home, at the end of the day, it supports health and morale. It really does. There's something comforting about walking into a tidy, fresh-smelling space when the world outside feels uncertain. It makes all the difference in the world. I actually know of times when I can tell that everything is getting to me because I'm not keeping up. My desk is suddenly buried under paperwork, or there's dishes in the sink, which right now there's dishes in the sink because I was baking. But and when you walk in and you see that, you're like, okay, like I didn't have enough going on and this day isn't everything that it is. And now I got to come home and do all this when I really just want to bury my head under the pillow. Walking into an orderly house, I'm not talking about eat off the floors, all the time, but at least an orderly house, a clean house will make you feel better in ways that I can't even begin to describe. Okay, let's talk about one of the most important but often overlooked parts of preparedness: first aid and health supplies. Because most of the time, you don't realize that you need it until you need it, and then it's too late, okay? If a loved one gets hurt or sick, you don't want to scramble. Trust me on this one, okay? Having what you need ready and organized turns panic into peace. It really does. And because Phil, I love that man to death, has kept me on my toes for quite a few years. I have built up a heck of a trauma kit, okay? I want to have what I need when an emergency happens, and hopefully we don't have any more. I'm getting kind of old for this. So build a solid first aid foundation. It's really important to do that. And to some extent, you can, you'll pick out what applies to you the most, but don't just kind of negate the things that you don't think apply. Think about them. Think about, can I afford to put that in my kit because I might need it? I mean, it's a good thing to think about, So here's what every household, in my opinion, should keep stocked. Bandages and gauze in multiple sizes. You cannot have enough sizes. Adhesive tape and elastic wraps for sprains and injuries. Those come in handy a lot. Antiseptic wipes and antibiotic ointment. Now, you're going to have to rotate through these because they don't last forever, but yeah. Pain relievers like ibuprofen or acetaminophen are great to have around. Know what you can take, for whatever reason. Allergy medication, huge. And cold and flu medicine, huge, okay? Because allergies are just, they're so much fun. Thermometer, digital. If it's a digital one, have extra batteries. I have never in my entire life been able to read a mercury thermometer. I don't even know if they sell them anymore. Doesn't matter because I can't read them. Digital thermometers are a godsend. Those little ones that they came out with COVID, they're okay. So you want to make sure that you have it and that you have extra batteries just in case. Hydrocortisone cream, for rashes or bites, especially in the warm weather because you're always getting bit by something. Tweezers, scissors, gloves, and cotton balls. Very important things, very important things. Reusable hot and cold packs are also super great to have. My freezer's loaded with them. Thank you very much, ARM. If someone in your household takes prescription medication, try to maintain at least a 2-week cushion if you can. I know it's not always possible. I get it, okay? If your doctor or your pharmacy or your insurance allow it, it's good to have a little cushion. And keep a printed medication list. I have come to accept this about myself. Names, dosages, pharmacy contact info in your emergency binder, in your go bag, and if you have a cell phone, on your cell phone. Let's talk about organizing because especially the medical supplies can get out of hand. I mean, just crazy out of hand. So I separate mine into 2 kits, right? My home base kit with everything. That's my, that's largely my trauma kit. that has everything and some stuff hanging off of it just in case. But then I also have a grab and go kit that's portable and waterproof. And that's with our go bag and our, our go tote is basically what it is. So you want one that you can take in, with you and run real quick with your go bag, everything else that you have in that, because you have it, right? With your emergency binder and everything. I know you do. I know you do. But then your main trauma kit, where if something goes wrong in the house, you just grab that trauma kit, then you're covered. So having both of them, reviewing both of them twice a year, like when the clocks change, is a great time. Label each thing clearly, okay? Wound care, pain relief, cold and flu. It saves time when you're not feeling well and you can't think straight. Have you ever? Yeah, I've been there. It's not fun. If you find expired over-the-counter medications, safely dispose of them and note replacements on your shopping list, because they really don't last forever. They will last longer than the date, but not 5 years. Here's some bonus items to consider, because I love bonus items. An emergency dental kit. Yes, temporary fillings, numbing gel, all that kind of fun stuff, okay? Electrolyte powders or rehydration salt. Nice. Aloe gel and burn cream. Yes. Yes, it's a bonus item to consider, but I highly recommend. Thermometer, covers, and extra gloves. You want something that covers the thermometers. If you've got one that is oral, it's like a little piece of rubber it's a cover. I'll leave it there. Okay. And extra gloves are a good thing to keep with your kit. And if you have pets, don't forget their first aid too, because I have a little sick kitty cat today and I don't know why. So we're just watching them. But definitely you want to make sure that whatever they have going on, you have spare for them too. Let's look at some overlooked household staples. Some may apply, some may not. Some may make you think, okay, that's not a bad idea. They don't fit neatly into any one category, so that's why I'm saying, overlooked. But they make life a whole lot easier when times get tough. A whole lot easier. Batteries, all sizes that you use. Rotate them regularly. Flashlights and lanterns. Keep one per room. Not per person, per room, okay? Matches and lighters for candles and grills, that kind of thing. They just come in handy. Candles, oil lamps, the electric candles, lanterns, that kind of stuff. Aluminum foil, plastic wrap, and resealable bags. Huge. My favorite, duct tape. Duct tape solves like all the world's problems. Super glue. They are repair miracles, right? A toilet plunger. You have to have one. A drain cleaner. Yes, really. Okay. Baking soda is great for cleaning, deodorizing, brushing teeth, calming indigestion. I literally have a video telling you a gazillion, well, not quite, ways that you can use baking soda. I'll link it at the end of this video. It's amazing how something as simple as having batteries and light sources ready can bring calm to a dark night. Light is where it's at. Okay, so Lisa, great. I've got all these lists. Okay, so how do I build it? How do I maintain it? Well, my friends, this is where we have fun. Take inventory, okay? I know you always want me to take inventory. I know, yes, but it's a good thing to do, okay? Walk through your bathroom, your laundry, your cleaning supplies. Write down what you use regularly. Set a goal. Goals are so important, right? Start with 30 days and then build towards 3 months. Buy with intention, not willy-nilly, oh, look at what they came out with. No, buy with intention. Add just 1 or 2 extras per shopping trip. You don't have to buy it all at once. Rotate it. Use the oldest first, just like food, okay? Use the oldest first. Label new items with the purchase date. Sharpie markers are your friends. Yes, they are. Contain and label them. Clear bins, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, any of those places. Clear bins, keep them visible and organized. Very helpful, so that you're not wondering, what in the world do I have in that thing? No, you know, because it's clear, you know. You want to review it seasonally. You really do. At least twice. At least twice. So this is another thing to tack onto that it's time to change the clocks and 1,400 other things, check your expirations twice a year and update your gear. Preparedness isn't a sprint. Please always remember that. Any part of this is not a sprint. It's a rhythm. Small, consistent steps build real security over time. And that's what you want to do. Nobody wants you to beat yourself up trying to do it all tomorrow. I didn't do it all tomorrow. I'm still not done. I learn something all the time. It's a lifestyle. Build it up over time. A well-stocked non-food pantry gives you peace of mind. It really does. It's not just about convenience, it's about freedom. And you know I'm all about freedom, okay? Freedom from panic when the stores close, freedom from worry when illness hits, freedom from stress when the budget is tight, freedom from worry when the weather isn't going to cooperate. Preparedness is not about fear. It's about a calm confidence. And that's what we want to be. We want calm confidence. When you have what you need, when you can take care of your family, no matter what happens, that's empowerment. That is serious empowerment. So this week, take 10 minutes, do your inventory, walk through your home, okay? Check your bathroom drawers, your laundry area, your first aid box. What do you run out of the most? Start there, build from there. And remember, your pantry is more than food. It really is. It's your foundation of calm in a chaotic world, which is where we're at. If you want to see the video with all of the ideas to use baking soda, check out this video right here. And until next time, everybody, be safe. Keep stacking it to the rafters, my friends.